abina no sabre ababe wuremu 1992 NDC regime they benefited NDC aban benefited from the harvesting of nuya. Oh man, the records are there. People should go to Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. They should go to Forestry Commission. There, between 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, up to 1996. Now you check nuya wo memwa. Nipa ne de ni moja aduaye. Na you can say ya. You can forest na. The natural forest no. Eno na wo ho. A no ankasa. Mo adoma nom ne ade e propagate nuadua nom ne ni nyina wo ho na dum pempenso bi a aban bi bai andaka ebuzia ehun se ye die onyankopon de dum ye betumi amana wo ho ne adidi ho kakra na emom se ye pese ye didi komu kese de a ye ne anka samfa sika ne ahoden ne enyansa enua bi eno ne kofa a wenum nyina bai Peace FM. The Papa and the Tnamua Copim Pempenso be 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Anna Omani whom for sopa. A creative Numa, a creative foreign exchange, a creative a lot. And no nachino, and you try ye cotton di yano. Ni jai tumua. Jatu mwana fe de na natural forest no eno awudum wawa eno ba ne da kwabrane ko ho wakutwa fi no de abeto tem na wakoto ne adi ya ne yenua akofom na kwaye ne seye. The next attempt say yebetimi asa ba biewo ebe ni ye was under J Kufuor government 2002 Okolonche say dwumadie no wo Sra
yeah
Robi o Aigbe
office nwan
yes honey launch yes honey launch afforestation national afforestation program
left and right
yes Sabre no na Professor Fobi ana no ye sector minister ana nana ya bema and na on ye plantation for plantation development fund
yes
on the chairman yes on an coordinator then I was a supervisor under that program. Me personally me supervise 600 hectares cultivation of Unia our Aura Forest Reserve to drew okwadra na adra wo banyina Aura Forest Reserve no benkum so na benkum so awafa nkransa kwan no aha nti memena so number 1 memena so number 2 bomu akosi proof forest reserve dua tikine melina boria nomniad but na scientists were problem anyway natural resource body be feel say exotic species you know na emoa seka you continue ni dua we your friend said natural natural
and so ne kwakra say we are on the right path
ne kwakra ne say ne mprensa suni a oman etu no ho asi ho se ye dua nua na himbe hia se be dua nua me ma we nyina na wahu period bia ye wo mu ye komu any leadership a ye wo mu any adwempo fa environmental issues ho fa nua dua nom ne ade a aban ben grouping ben and the was at man ma wo mai oh
inti say o Daniel de na dia ba
tie kwasi here they say
na gogofu
you see the leadership
say no why you buzi a abe ko for if you be na inti na obe na UP for project
the leadership you provide the leadership. You provide the leadership. Enuti kwasi who because who benefit from
Abubaye no.
That's an MPP project.
An MPP project. Leadership. I'm talking about
leadership. Abuja studio here. Or bread me media no fi. Or so bread kwesi bi. President Mahama be duebi, President Kufuor duebi,
yes.
Nana do,
yes.
Chief Imam,
yes.
School for,
yes.
Iti
Enuti no yen so leadership no dey adwen papa nti yen nyina yen som. That is it. That is it.
Henry Kobna Kobe
say me habu. Ubedua bi usukura ma enti Chama General the woman say yen nyina said the importance of tree. Edua ho fa so no. Apart from say emaye nwuno no ono no ma oxygen. Enti ye ni dua di exchange ewo mframasemu se kane papampa anke ye be na ko bia ne dua ba akukura no na di wonchen na chese ka wo home oxygen no na nka ono so je carbon dioxide but enye sa ntimi nyeyi enu tie si dua no miamia nomne ade ba problem e wo mu ne se enwumaku ahodo bebre bi te se urban roads highways construction works nomne ade eba ni say ya minister ne mpenani abra ye dua yi ya yire ye ho a ye dua yi na ono nso so project aba beduru na se obeyi free ho nti Uber Environmental Protection Agency emra o say who undertake any constructional infrastructure development project na dia ba affect you a se wo ba na se forestry commission kra mawa na yehunu de be ebinom de ye kire won se de obi o ha na kia ne kia sisi yi free ho wo ye free ho a ba ko bia no obedua num anansia de asoso National Cathedral yeke se ne nua wo pa enua anyini awie dada recommendation was say yen two form and two nua ni hine ne fan to articulator so yen kodua no be foforo wo ma yen nyina ho
oh sure
papa oh last
me say
well who articulator truck best and naya ne nua de so no for replanting you've done it and nua nkuma anyini kase pie no o ka se wo tu no ase nyina na de akosi be foforo no so ye possible enunti the project is going but minister can say be anu ne hia pa enua seedlings na ye kodua no ye nton ye pamochew uko forestry commission district office bia any other designated areas na regional offices na district
minister bekawa
obia ka so beton amawa ye srew sa program we green Ghana program ye nton seedlings no ana face obomode na dua wia ensi ho esuguo eni so behwe se mo bi ma chire mawie enom ne ade ehia papa
Mami Komenim Kokofu Walanyo and Akwetia says we live in a country where the government will use resources to plant trees and later people cut these trees down for containers and buildings. What laws are we enacting to protect the trees we're planting? Kwame, as a publisher and looking at the rising cost of paper, can we get softwood like pine from the ministry and grow? Yeah. Government must bring out a policy not to cut down even domestic trees without permission. What kind of trees are we growing? Is it only to get oxygen? Let us be economic. Let's get the direction clear and know the benefits. Kwame Nkrumah had paper trees. Now there are no more. Nana Owusu Atonsu. We cannot downplay the importance of plants in our society, especially for the purposes of respiration and aesthetic use. Master Planner Junior Kintampo. The planting of trees is a good policy, but what do we gain if we plant trees and allow Galamsey to go on? I take this opportunity to ask Kokofu to ask him the state of the fight against Galamsey. Has Ghana lost it? Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. And then Kwame, you question the sustainability of the Green Ghana agenda. I'd respectfully love to add that the education on the essence of tree planting and protection is not enough. Hence, we need become a fruitless exercise over the years. Again, there are no punitive measures against people who fell trees without authorization. If we want Ghana green, we have to do more than just planting. And then the Green Ghana project is a good policy. Let's support it. And Kuma Foster Chima Yiribi. Kokofu, mema 1 minute. Namako Charles.
Just I opening the na or can say economic trees ne paper trees no. Na yo do be a friend of Melina Aboria. Na no yes, you the buy be no menu for paper pulp production. But unfortunately, if you are in Drew baby, what the pulp in the early stages in an essay, the pulp, so my and find it. That plantation, ne subri plantation Western region. We can bring all these things back. If we say your private companies, nominal private concerns are undertaking afforestation, reforestation programs. Yes, the economic aspect of it, and when they determine the species are ubedria. But in the urban setup, said the way Kumasi, Kran, Takradi, Krumunum, you are not bound to say obey the economic tree per se. For aesthetic value, for Framanomnes Mananiade. But where plantation proper, when we say plantation, tree plantation, and no, the objectives are there, economic, Niamani are there. Dear now the bear, dear now with the bear. Into a category. Into Forestry Commission, Nimina, Odina. Okay. The me Bebian and Kumasi and cry, hey, Nemi could be a numu, and I do Semina Nim tree, Namina, and Namina, dear Bia Ahum can, not a 15 tem, not a union tem, never ma a Habani baby bear. I this year the baba, and no, ya.
On him don't cough Husseini. What him don't cough Husseini?
No, former DC.
Onwa, or say, me mau alert back who says here, or say what the signpost to be ABC a Jesso swamp num.
Yes,
right. Or some countries say they started filling it with sand again.
Wow. And no nessa wetland asemia. Professor Chris Gordon Sakan was it.
Or some country into a Jesso swamp. Or say they're filling it with sand again.
I hope say Kumasi office, regional office, starting on TT, but I will send you now. Please mon content Money District Assembly na municipal ampo. And corner cost up one. You can say for every documentation no more. And sana you better consider BBI consider.
Right. Charles Bremen Kakane for Yanko. Yes.
Mapai Osirio high the papa.
Yamia Duminti.
Yami. The crew won't cry and send on me for no Macassa for planting tree planting wasam. Omuchimi. Mechia.
Proof for us, I reserve in a model.
Yes.
Brow.
Yes, Brow. Chairman.
Yes.
No question, sir. We say a woman by we are saying now in your dear or what they are Mofa Kufuka and Semi boundary lines are now Bosoma Forest. Muchaba Hukratua, Kakran fire that was planted at the Buziais regime. Abambia Ba Webi, name Mum no cranium in him. Oshe, Oko records from Forestry Commission CCIA. Ebe can't tell us Urand and that Urad Danko Kufado. Nabain. In the dear at train at Taban Mukasi, and I pay Mukasi power. Some of Bekaya, me running me dolphin in my downfall. Name a boss. Uraka Joseph free about Forestry Commission. And all the Jumedi Bibaya friend of youth in afforestation. Betimaka said everywhere in this country. Before all corner creation, now you dear almost a little over 50 million citizens across the country. Now we say, and the other one, and Bonteson Quandi, Diano, if you do Sabi, a paya, Cassia, same, you know, will be our 10 crane, and I be a dear Sefi. Oh, we got to do Sefi, but when you say Diano, Sabi, acquire him. And some of a kind, and we are so for Sopa. Maybe be a métier. Someone told him, Botiano, be any, the insurer, Nayaka. Now I'm consider me points from Mikofi. Now, if you can't see, Timizamba, Krum, ever transfer Bob 10 o'clock on some Mikofi.
Now, so two.
Now, Michelle area was here. And Yenny Hokra. New Botiano. And Yenny Hokra. Mestre Seminia, Sylvester Tete, MP Papa, Utimia. You take advantage of this greening Ghana. Now, you need area falling to me in Casania, quite a bit of Faswa, a beauty and Yao. A damn potembo, and we are more for sofa. Now, of our can be bring to me in Cancassi. But you see, about the body will be a young family. Said the ATM criticize will be a word, be a young. Senipan be dancer, a yes, young one of us. owura say John dey youth in afforestation by no enuadua pagya ne mu koso owura bugina po by no why na adwen say there be enkoye forestry for nko adwuma na emo mi bie mu amana ba ye oman ne nyina ye den yasede enti na wo hwe ya last year nko no almost about 7 million or 5 million trees there yedua across the country and as I said there say what dia kokoduro any nsiye ka say 5 million or hwe na ni so a extra enti wo man yem pagam ko 20 million eye say obiya de ne ho den ehim when yem PPN this asemo no obi enua asabe yes photo from our man edi sika de ba o man mu a ye na nya so fa so tell of kan na tik no ye twakura to ha hu kura na wera ho because say kanen ye duadua ansa de ye duadua no emre bi a atwam a me hu bandrela I want me fa wonsa entwenhia buzi time bandrela want me fa wonsa kwa entwenhia enti say so mu na enkanya twa ye twa anya hu sika na ye adwo say ye be planting no anie den so sa time a nka me gidi say nye ni dua nkwa ye duoba ne sika nka de be bra o man kura no so e ya de kese pa enti ye nsom ne ya mo na baso
mate
media here make kese say ofa kan na say here me bi nye ni dua o chama ba say e bebo ho ban
answer me next message am ba be kan
nye ni dua no a ye be dua ba say be ya ye bebo ho ban na dua ye be dua no e so be ban fa so fi say ye kan sika we komo chama
very
e wo so kwaji dua na e ye kwa
so ba mi so bi be
na so e den ya obi na ye sidin no obi be ji sika eden ya sabi ye beto nsu anom eden ya ye beto cutlasses eden ya ye beto volunteer boot eden ya be she t-shirt eden ya ye be ye ehun forums a ye be hia say ye be twini pa adwen si so amoma be di say adwuma nti say ye dua wie na ye ti koda na ya adwen ni say enu abegi a enti sa
Nana Sifachum says we cannot afford to plant every year and deplete every day.
Yeah.
The opportunity is here for all and sundry to help restore our forests today for future generations. Let us be proud contributors to this phenomenon. It is said, quote, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit.
Come on, as well kind. Ahunya pa. Na hefo ne twedua no.
Yeah.
Hefo ne sense no.
Yeah.
Last week me wa na me nya call be fee. Doma hinkro. Abra na me office no. Now there was a market I word Doma to us at that time. Na illegal market. The agent said there fire no ban na mo ko fa duane bi go sa yiti ma sa market na den enkoso because aban nya so mfa so obi aso den emfrim ko obi asabe mo fa de nim oti adwuma se waje compartment or concession bi otua stampage otua taxes ma aban wo hwe kwaye no so oye but they go wia change or nipa de sabe ono de onfa ho duane ko mtimi ko twa bi tu we ma o se akoa nti wo ntwa but wo bu to atwene enti yegu market no after I left the office and I said my boss will feel my and I'm marketing and back. I had a call from Doma from a certain guy threatening to kill me.
Today.
Wow.
Sir, oh yes. Sir, me at the time I am in office, no, I'm be good, no. And the marketing and saying a pija beam, I kese kura chen kanino. Into me a bear man. Omu nyame means I'm running the good marketing then. I would Doma. Come on. That somebody called me and said that said and I'm saying me go nunti. Na me no me fee office no. He was threatening to kill me. Na me be ma me mra market of go afena. And ube he kra bi kan onye Ghana ni. Ube hwem mpo no. Nti me sre nananom a sabe e de o ho ahye green Ghana mu nananom. Na I can say I'm talking about Doma. And Doma man hini ye former board chair Forestry Lands and Natural Resource Board. Enti wo hwe ohini kase a o kasafa ahunidie hu o kasafa sabi environment yi o kan ho asem enuadua na kache ne chio na sa market ameka say wo ha eye illegal market ye lodu. Now you can go there and see me wo hwe trailers are every day in and day out. They be say aban revenue ben say no nya film but forest land every day say enti me nya test no de buy no say Ghana for ye adwen say enua ho won faso nti ba bia yete ahemfo wo ho enipa wo kronum empanimfo whether police fo soldier fo aban mu nipa obi bia party mu fo ye behwe say ye ma ye kwaye no ensei ni ebesi ano ebesi ano kwan se nkofo nya kwan se whether it's galamsey o whether it's nya galamsey so nkwampo omo mo shija no come on
BD for
kwaya e make say uko sefidum ye yi a kokwa nkofo de kwaye na do no ohu ba dwane ebinim so kra ho amato enuro na yese edi kimkum dua no nti omo mfa gyae den entum ba na ye twitwa dua no ho hia no de eduro na fa ho na nua na den awu yes de nyina no se ye gyae a aso man ma no ye betime nya kwaye na ye hwehwe no enye minister nko asede ba obi bia wote me ne anopa yi.
Charles Owusu, a tree planter and a lover of the forest. Minya Bako, Ora Seth, Obri, Ayeta, Fro, Yellow, Anase, Kwekwansa, Ufri. And now I would that Eradin Shrub be brave. Peace 104.3. Kwame, politicians are urging us to plant trees, yet they are still in the forest, cutting the little we have and are exporting to other countries. What a shame. Pilot in a dressroom. As a Ghanaian, I'm not interested in the fanfare of the tree planting, but the sustenance. Kwejo Edupako Achim Esium. And then Ken Wood says, I can't think far. I'm in the timber business. How can we spend money, time to plant trees and do nothing about illegal chainsaw operators who are just waiting for the same trees to grow and cut them down illegally? Arrest those who sell illegal lumber and the illegality will stop. And that is Ken Wood. Human beings will become extinct when the last tree dies, which essentially means trees are life. Let's support it. Kwesi Reynolds, Aguna Odobing sends that one. And then moving on, I watched the Green Ghana program on a TV station that highlighted the frontage of the Jubilee House of all places. Where are the trees there? For these trees to benefit our country, I want to beg the government to eradicate all taxes on LPG to spare the trees. The level of tree cutting in BA and northern region is too much. Musa Raphael in Tamale. What is the work of the NCC? Is it not functioning anymore? The tree planting exercise education to the public was very low, except for some few media houses and government officials like Abu Jinapo, and that is Martin Jan in Adreso Domiabra. Can the environmentalists give us some guidelines or steps to take if one wants to go into doing economic trees? Well, I'm sure it can be done. Nana Usu comes again. Okay, right. Kwesi, any comments on tree in the name called ex gratia?
No, one call you.
Ex gratia. I don't person make ex gratia.
Oh, David. Engine hakakra. And then. Mini akuma abujina po tie program yam se ni rebe ho kakra
ha den na ni rebe ho
so say kwame wo ani abudi nkomo
yeah
wo kra na abisa na num asem ana abu kase ya enua ye ba bedua ni se di ya manosam okay na sanua ye bedua ayo mamuni nyina djuma nti onu de onyaya ka MPC na fa wo ho hjem so ye NDC so ye MPP fa ho hjem ayi students ni ade no biamfa ne ho hjem asofo imams ni ade na fa ho hjem okay no e me de kakra e me de pass wo kasa den de fa kwa ya ye nia ya ye masa ko dia sem na kopa abubu ya da
wachia kwa
o pa chese kokofu afa rough road o pa chese kokofu afa rough road
oh nam rough road no nam no kra nya ayo no speed limit what speed limit tia accelerator no so gidi
no fa double road wo itu fa ina ni fa atali
kokofu asasa ni wala samu okay so sabio tafrache nya adum
danger ukre
masa why anye yekura no colonial administration po colonial British colonial kra omo ye bibi fa kwaye ho ena dua ye dua ni ade pacho me say
Ghana from independence
see amutre
rough road
master pacho that be mean try rough road me say colonialist no kra ye hu bibi na
because ana me exclude
pacho na buri botanical gardens no time fenu tunchen Department of Parks and Gardens establishes omunya dey establishes on beton wachi Department of Parks and Gardens establishes on dey and so on. And there's a history, a long history. Me and far we may man some. Masa ne ati here can tick. Me kai pa bra tick dua be tick. E champo abreso. Tick pa.
Debbie, please.
Masa Ghana hamis ma
all plantations were established from 1970 69, 70, 71, 72. All teak plantations in this country. Yeah. All teak plantations.
Masa,
that is the time I started.
That was the beginning of the whole.
Yeah, teak plantations. Teak farms.
5 years ago, me and my cousin Oba, I teak plantation. 5 years ago. All plantations.
Oh, me say it started from there. Make I said.
What's it all?
All national effort in teak plantations. National effort. And no here. Teak farm.
I was started in 1970.
No. I was started about 20 years ago. But consciously, for economic purposes for that. Reform. And just starting. No, because you are getting it wrong. Who getting it wrong? Because facts. Who getting it wrong? Because who twisted facts? Facts. Yes. Plantations began. Yes, share plantations are say. Abofo, Kwankwa, Kwapeni, Kumeu, Namasia, Hifanhi Pena, Gaso, Numni Adina. Empty individuals, about plantation development. There's so many for a single.
What can was somewhere we
they're working. What's it called rough road? What track? I'm 3 classes.
Anyway, one way to some minam ketiki kwanso and answer minam national effort. Would you MPP versus what's the CPP grade and come? Your baba muno ya nye komi nkruma ba wa nye sana opatre as
anyway ya ne kodua ni a
okay pacho mami nka masem nsi nti eno ya bakwasem na masa obi ha bana se o hye nkransi yendu a say asem papa o yes masa primary school geography and no much in Riano and Fasu walking. So maybe one as in the end, Monsieur Cranto. On them, or mine when we are not trained, we are no go. Rainfall pattern, the best sister. Massa, yeah, Kasaka say, forest Nadian, and only carbon sink. And I may want to sabro for what is sabro for the Jamie. Carbon sink. Carbon, you produce carbon in Nasa, yam pequine be. And produce oxygen and balance and as the ampekwan be and cracker bonia. Massa, no, ye be yare, ye be woo, climate change, and no may be seen in yes and kitwa. And in Yapa, ye dear, the papa. As ye no, ye be a holding touch the need dream the as and ye bear, and you be cool yamaye. In Riano, it is part of the effort to preserve life. You see, when the last 3 dies, the last man dies. There's a link between tree planting, tree survival, and the survival of the human race. The part as a source. Many Japa say Kwame, Diana Abu Dibra wono, what dear with the kama. Name Diana Mai. Na mia could be a good year. Me fears in my being the baby.
Are you out of position?
Question in Yadia.
Minya biso medua ka ho. Me kope biso medua ka ho because but I don't know my man come as a musi.
Onipa na ye ni adua no. Also obi o ha
who mean come as a
who na setena mu say your tear automatically who senior na nije adua. Who ye naturalist to start with. Who's that?
Eti mo me come as.
I say me come out.
Kwesi si on here o chia me.
Come as. Enti masa ndie dua ne de ndie ka eye pa. Emom.
Kwesi Pratt.
And you mo ya ye no. I establish a link between deforestation and national energy policy. Yagma or Ministry of Fuel and Power kakra. Na ayi PNDC bresu. Ebro mo ye o madwen se wo mo de wo mo ndua na ya dua no wo mo be preserve no ne ade. Oh, different policies but the same end. And wo mo share da yes a gas stove no a man na wo mo nua dokono ne ade use no. Sa gas stove no e de ba no ye de ba se ne be ya ye ntwa dua as firewood. For commercial cooking near the nearby use gas and be niano, a betche, a benny, yinka. Okay.
Dr. Charles,
special gas cylinders now. You see a sworn one, you didn't hear the enemy.
No, it didn't be Refi. No, it didn't be Refi. They had a name, there was a name for it.
But that was another measure. And I'm saying, a buying policy at the time was to reduce the gas price so that gas will become affordable.
I give families a home, not just a place to stay. I am a liberal host.
People in rural communities near there, one can Riano their firewood. And here, Riano, need institute other measures as well.
Yanara Sassani, airport in Limaye, Mojana Nanum Shegu, Nadi to Homaye. Edumene was so, say a pay, Piatwaso, Nindian Twasum, Kutu Craninia, Pessamin coming out. Eddie Ain Bremo, the Mamaya Sassi, who do what to say. Oh, my no. Oh my Lord, yes and I hose, oh my full private jet, oh my Lord, yes and I hose,
yeah, we go. Okay, this is my motherland, Lady Ghana tiny. Anything I go talk, Linda tiny. Bo up Bonia hey, Bonnie Dana Fay. Many me feel he get here, many won't pay. Malaba he can't find the Bajamin Cabo. What you know, Ninja Lava, where me Cabo. I promise on my own, I'm over Taya near me, Shona. Pulling off a Mina Sana, Libukuna no Shona.
Yawaena, Jumanchia Fico May, Cohen Kabila Capito, Zahida Kai, Banda Bumbanchi, Mudena Zwalumchi, Ubangijing Allah Wayma, Zumunchia Fico May, Anna Muhammad Wayma.
I give families a home.
See, this is not a peace song, it's a love song. Peace and Ghana getting married, keep the love strong. See, a peace we cannot risk. War at home is like cardiac arrest, cause home is where the heart is. Let the trumpets sound victory. The battle that we won is a battle for a peace. We promise on an honor that we'll never fight again, cause Ghana is a happy place, with joy we should defend.
A grunny bun and one ya will any TJ Club. Get him, what's up, motherland? I don't feel like I'll be the an eighth year. I'm in love with you now. Tamajiba, my jihad, I'm up your tower. What's a now? Will a dodgy love for from Jaka Chale how? From the big six, you still to fix things. Mawa Hamakafu, what she can't do it reaches.
If you don't make it be, somebody for fight, we don't need one a piece. And come boom, easy with if we to protect the nation, Mother God and anyone I save it. Oh yeah.
About the peace, hey, about our summer day, about the peace, hey, I want to now summer day, walk, hey, from a wabo, what has some chon once, say, many bay you some killing you, Shumara, which has if you won't pay for a month who are when you did your cocoton, a lady be okay, palace, a lady more care, pallet, a lepizuko care, pallet, I'm out with you him. It's all about a peace. Hey, Baloba.
Phones in a doom, stores out to doom, police say you foom, and we are say soon. Papa, yeah, papa, depending on high, Mwashakuma Muma, Memina Danima, Papa, would don't know what it is in room, Musimugania to Sema Photo Gem, Ubedo BBC.
Anna, it's no more.
Papa picture free me, Dayum Nametium, no war.
So that the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons and daughters of God. Hey, we pray for love.
All right, people. Now, for me, more about more trust. And you may so baby, I will be able to feed you. You have to have another radio, so. And then come on, if fear her. And it's my fancy as from Con. And mouse say, what Jim Ray? Now, what do I feed you at what say? Mine and come on.
Bring peace to our land.
Nation matters. Peace to our land.
That's right. What's your mind, your woman? My susu, men so me mine. It's Sunday, any baby, I quanti. And until you may be out to men can. Now, Timmy and I am walking. For so in a song. I'm in fast, that in Chiama. I bring Pond Radio. No, I bring Pond. And so our Woodbridge, Virginia. Mr. Eric and Mama Lee. Grandma and so Ebo. I would see Jumadi. And Chankoma and a tear for. But we feed you to a brim pound and you bring in Nara. Sounds soon I had done life for Melton Keynes. What a year. UK upon Tenso and Chankoma and Mansan Buff. Osiamo embraye nona mefa kwanya zonamdentia eliama nasa shamai awo Worcester, Massachusetts and I'm a chapa papa any abusia that's na enchankoma me mama ba ko pe ewo Connecticut Auntie Asantewa Mr. Pepra and all the family mencha Mrs. Tofosim our New Jersey mencha Auntie Agi our New Jersey Uncle Joe political Mayweather Christopher Dominic Kadubons ye chrome and animal what Jersey Yinara and Tiason Kumam my bien is Sama Mincha Musako Dom. You know, are you back? Every Ghana aba Canada. Mentonka. Musakudom of Toronto. Gifty Abasa. Ofaya John. Ofaya Wabana. Pataswaba Mentonka. Pafua is currently in Ghana. But everywhere Tiano. And Chakoma Nana Akosia, our New York, and Akosia, the English lady. Mr. Sekufo, Jakweku, Mr. Opon, Sister Diane, Sister Diane, and Afe, Jessica Mame, and Nebusia, Uncle Kizito, Wachiato, and anyone out here live. Mentia of Akumia. Now a bit to Babylon. Mentia sister Maggie and so. Near New York. And Chiancoma.
Catch the MLB Game of the Week live on YouTube, free of charge at YouTube.com.
That's right. Epa. That's what I'm talking about. Chencha one up.
Chencha one up vinti. Timama ba hajaswati. Kruda kru. Akubidi yabo. Suma baby pa my want on yo. Chencha one up yo. Tidada ba hajaswati. Kruda kru. Akubidi yabo. Suma baby pa my want on yo.
That's right. And you may joke when I'm in chair. I'll come for. Now I've been to the big chief. I'm in chair, Sister Nana Ama in Yanumina, Connecticut. And Chankoma Nana Kweku Buafu, the CEO, and in Fear Radio. Nana Michao and Numre, Papa. Hey, Mr. Achiachi, the prof, and Chankoma Achi, our Manchester. I've been to Achi's friend Kofi, and Mr. President, of course, Mintia Uncle Joe of UK. I'm in Mr. Tomewu of Canada, Amania Champo, Uncle Frank, Uncle Osei, Sister Philip, Juliana, Yanumina of Canada, Chanko Mamunyana, Mintia Kakape, Nana Adujamfi, Efua Florence, Dixon, Ajay, Mayu, Mami Oge, Mama Christie, and you know saying now Chicago, and Chanko Mam. And Jankoma Nanada was Seattle. And I fake bona. Ya koma munyina.
So my baby pa ma want yo.
And Chakoma the Mexican. The Mexican Ventures. Ghana and Obutuo. And to be on here, they did you mind. Chakoma na papa. Mr. Kwabena Ofori. The CEO Mexican Ventures. 7-4 for Philly. Victoria Ajekum. It's in Texas. Uncle Mamo. Nana ya Mwakiro for Sunis in Atlanta, Georgia. And Kwame Boateng, Ben Riverson, and then Yanmo Atlanta. And may a chamunina. Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Sapon and Susu Alexandra, Virginia. Joe Osewusu, Kentucky. Akwasi Yesu, Cincinnati. Sister Asantua and Susu Denver, Colorado. I may confirm on say. So person what there Diane Diane bia no aye wakono e bia na winimre na wo pese wonu a yeni ababi e wa ha for the sister Santoa bayo kama enti fato kalanda And Chankoma, Mr. Bismarck. We have 2 Bismarcks in Denver. Bismarck Bako at Louisville. Lafayette, Colorado. And I pay another Bismarck. I know you're Chrome offers. Chankoma. I'm in Chair, Madam Chair. I said, so buy a friend Pong. Baby, all be in Chankoma. Pia danko amechiao na ebintu chama body Denver, Colorado for nyina ya chiamo papa Mintia Florence Mintia Sister Flora Princess Flora Wisconsin Rabina also from Wisconsin. And the one I would see live from Wisconsin, you know, and you may. So bad. And then come on, Fear. Enter the for WhatsApp, Obi. Test your B. Invite somebody to join me live here on Amenado Studios. And come on, Ewa. And run and I'm working for saying it. And I actually ball government this week. Then Yasam Ketwa. And said, if I'm with you, Union Tremu, and it's an enema, a sequoia. I see funny say, I'm funny say, would Mention another one, Sister Fia, Houston, Texas. I mention Ali, our Plano, Texas. Konango never be a wisha piano, Tokrobia, me pesameton. Konango Kaya, and say, what's your home bonnet? Yantonka, Ghana money. Baby, I'll be a mianton.
This is a baby, I'm Simbia. The Punshra Meshrano. I'm a DC, I am what? I'm a Benny, I am a friend. I'm a Bunukmaya Posa. Melupe Maka, Quantio Musao. Obiwazo, I don't change one of you. Chief Inspector, Grace of Money, for the offer is a year with that.
by YouTube. And it's your key to over 80 million official songs. So you can keep listening to your great, well, like just great grandkids. Get YouTube Music Premium. Try 1 month free.
All right, people. I don't for me more kwa babiem. I'm more tenas. And you may, baby, I will be a no. Ya what ya kunya. Now what they will phone, with tablet, and now with laptop will be with desktop. Any kind of gadgets with it here, Amenado no. And you may, and you are sitting in chair. Any other mouth. That's from Daddy Lumba. Awesome Pie Boy. All right, people. And you were there, the bunny. The bunny, the brothel. The brothel, no. Yani can sweet bad. Tell me a dear sweet bad. And I'm a double. All right. And now someone at that a punoso, and someone at that punoso. The minority concourse. Minority concourse caucus. Caucus, not concourse. Caucus. The minority caucus of parliament. What's that about it? Was it a Nyamiya or Nadom 2024? We're back to Sakakai. But you are someone made it by Tiania Pa. And then, me, I want all right, the minority caucus in parliament. What's up, Bazi? The latest news about the Babontin, and it said the Commander Sugar Factory I wa akumfi Commander Sugar Factory our Central Region. I know say winning story behind Commander Sugar Factory. Min ko ho dodo. Esan say min ko ho dodo ntino. The minority at the parliament. So Obasa Kakai 2024. Company bia so obefa anwene abano. Obe wene the president. Naso wonyaba. Obe chi MPP for gum rough. So wonyaba. Obe chi MPP for gum rough. Esan say Sika Pudwo according to the NDC. According to NDC, Sikapuduo pa wode eja ho se aban obeba no wo hwe mremu a aban bia no esese eye continuation ni aban dada no hye ya wanwie ewo constitution mu se me pato tie ni yo ene NDC for no kotu constitution. Say it's in the constitution. Say wow beba ubedi ade no kwamboni bia so it's so faso na otimi bie the leftover projects. Amenado danko akufado His Excellency woba ye emfie nsia muni Commander Sugar Factory wabandin sene wonu hwe NDC fortress omampanya bomin fita wabomin fita duku ana waja Commander Sugar no ho ana enwura ana se efan na nsema odi aba bonten se obia wo MPP ya me wo bon Commander Sugar Factory mu de woba obeti wo magum papa anya sam kito so woba power MPP for be ko jail papa esan say sika pudu aboja ne wo say aban MPP aban onfanwie Sugar Factory no omanye ndi sika no da bia wo bia no say MPP for FB na sami na ye mprofo bi na eni nsebo abutie me nso eye wo na so in this case and I be discuss samatesi and of course that's why the National Cathedral when him say they said the National Cathedral in so yakoye issue bia just say enkamophobia so sorry so panyimpa ya oda project nano akoka wo TV station bi so say abra enkamofo si wo mo mosque kese ewo kanda enkran kanda no Ghana aban enso support to womo bibi na sikano de maintain dodo that according to that concern Muslim one for no share and someone crofo yi ka any sene won koko asi apeja na masam bisane say and it is say NDC percent What force ma National Cathedral no acquired the issue between the Christians and the Muslims. And you have the Hussein. Nebedi home.
I give families a home.
You know what time it is. DJ Now, I want what you mean to me. I do what you mean to me. I wait. I don't quit you mean to me. I'll be harder.
All right, there goes Daddy Lumba again. Tell the medical cano and you rain. And for money, you know, I bet you now. And for money, you know, I bet you now. Commander Sugar Factory. And you moon and some me per voice be no bo. Na wa hunu ne me per actually.
Me ni bibi ko ne mo no ma figo do ye woman aka me fini me suno mo ma yase the big me show na me ntumi hu se yeti pa ye ananka se ya ka me ni mu oda te ma senti me ne hawo susu dwen na me tuwa na mo a me krawo bibi na wate atwen bi samu anse wega fi se press bi so for kora ho wonsem na me ya me tonyo ma dasa connect ma se na ne yeti mu no no wenti be jampem be jabo da fugo baby indi twa so bra ke wa be ka se for no bi fire wood be tete ma woti wenti be jin kuto sira na pa kai me nya sa boga be je loose Samo shamebo, nanso mini wushi aja beka kisa be back to one die. A ya tobo, metitin simbia, e mo fakesi e hame so me mine.
All right, your second voice now the beba because me per voice and then I hit it up. Na Commander Sugar Factory. The moon sam Arrow and let me be say what's your summer to say? Whom do you have to blame? I think we need to blame the president, the government in power. The government in power is not doing nothing to prosecute those guys. Efa Commander Sugar Factory. Free. And no more try. Thank you for a double salary. Omoji double salad. Moja no money nam.
Police for the Yanka, Pana Gigana, Dr. Sojini Paces, and Graphic Kama, teachers who to the Pemuka, no Dama, politicians in Yadwa Shesika Dama, Yay, me, one Ghana. I'm a Mamma Faton to Sansa, and Japantina, and Yamiasio. So I tell my bow. Ah, Danny Juma, Yahuto, Ghana, you've been a son who yelva. Fina no nesta ocean kuwa. Ayana na yoda na yoda. Ana umizani obra. Yeah, ushi obina sa so dona. Fina no nesta ocean kuwa. Akwa na yoda. Ana umizani obra. Oni para. Oni para. Oni para. Oni para na kana. Ya kuye. Drew baby, I've been from the end. Only better, not here for Ray. Drew baby, I've been from the end. Only better, not Drew baby, I've been from the end. Only better, not be back now. Drew baby, I've been from the end. Only better, not Bruce. A drew baby, I've been from the end. Only better, not Yamana. Sorry, mo, Ukraimo, Unaimo, sorry, mo, Ukraimo, Daddy, Sylvia Sina, Bayama, Siga, Sylvia Sumba Drua, Mikao, Kwananina, Jantino Bambe, Nadonta, what you, Sylvia Sina, Bayama, Sylvia Sumba Drua, Mikao, Kwananina.
All right. And I'm so enjoy and you know. Papa, and you may. Asam bisani nyina ne se even ye free ya ba bedru baby ya concerning the Commander Sugar Factory and this fortress say sikapa wodi jao ema MPP aban na me pacha o mini awutie me ka se Sugar Factory no na this for so mo awie ama factory no e produce sugar ananya sana net here na enadia na change today is my brighter day. Make sure baby I'm gonna kill me pay. Won't take to the money I every day. Oh yeah, I me so cool. Yeah, me gonna rock the beside me side. Me baby bambu ante. Me come and you. Me cast me baba Joe. Me cast me baba sumo. So I'm on me I'm going to me all right, people. Me part of the force of say. What do a video to here? What's up, Obi? Test Obi. Invite somebody to come on the show. But that's on Amenado. Now, yentie way quick. Ewo, and come on, ye didn't.
Where your shipping address types itself. Where all your tabs go, everywhere you go. Where you can surf without getting fished. There's no place like Chrome.
It also blames the MPP government for not attending to the factory when the NDC left power, leading to the destruction of the machines. The NDC also blames the MPP government for playing politics with the issues relating to the factory and propagating factually inaccurate narratives to score political points. The leadership of the minority caucus, who were on a working visit to the factory, spoke to City News about the current state of the factory.
If the government had continued the processes that, as they met it, led by the hard-working, visionary John Mahama, NDC, we will not be here. Calling on the government of President Akufo-Addo and the Ministry of Trade and Industry to take immediate steps to make sure that they operationalize the factory so that the people of Commander can at least have young people working at the factory. John Mahama decided to refurbish or to establish the Commander Sugar Factory for two good reasons. One, to create jobs for the people of the Commander Enclave. The question I want to ask today, have you been given jobs from the Commander Sugar Factory? Today, 6 years after he had established it, we want to find out whether as a nation we'll be able to reduce the importation of sugar. And the answer is no. What is worrying is the disrespect for the chiefs and people of this community.
The ranking member made it patently clear that they undervalued the factory that was built with $50 million. They undervalued it at $12 million US. And they are doing so in order to sell it off, for a song. That is unacceptable. From an accounting point of view, that is causing financial loss to the state. Again, the fact that the factory was left to rot, and for many years, nothing was done, and they had to borrow money in order to refurbish it. That again, from an accounting point of view, is causing financial loss to the state. And the next NDC government in 2025 will be prosecuting those who are responsible for the causing of financial loss to the state.
Ranking member on Trade, Industry and Tourism.
They will prosecute those who are responsible to causing a financial loss to the state. And me pacho, so what a voice, NDC for no, NDC parliamentarians and workers at the Omun costing no financial loss to the state. Omu dear, ye French him. Wow. Now, and Atik Muhammad, very good challenge on this. I was sempa. Nenona, me pe voice see. Me pato so bu of voice no. On fan send me why? Fan send me 720-275-9923. Atik Muhammad. That wasn't Atik. That was I think was a Miracle. What's the name of the guy again? Miracle something. And then Menyaji, the comment, papa. Auntie. Once Waba, and before J rough. Yamina make the NDC gurus.
Hey there, good drivers. You're probably tired of car insurance commercials.
Is there something else? And once someone say, what dear Baba to Abont?
Looks like talking animals or whatever.
Hello, friends.
Let's get it on for the news review. We'll be joined shortly by Liz Hayfron-Asari, media consultant. But let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Flood control drain projects stall. That's on page 13. 117.7 million Ghana cedis spent on 12 kilometers. Let's get some details of that story very quickly. All right. Here we go. So, flood control drain projects have started between 2015 and 2019, have stalled and become conduit. That a lot of work had been done to get the factory to restart production, saying although the timelines were not exact due to unforeseen technical contingencies, the factory was ready to start production as soon. He declined to give the name of the country from which the molasses would be sourced. Need I say anything on this one? I see lists in the background, but again, one of those issues I have become inured to, the Commander Sugar Factory. You know how far back this goes? It goes into the 60s and all, and we're still here. Another white elephant that has been played about like ping pong between political parties, and we are there and we are not there, and now the Commander Sugar Factory is a rust bucket. Even if we're going to activate this, we basically have to pump so much more money into it. Again, I ask, what kind of country are we in? And what kind of leaders do this to their people? Liz, a very good morning to you. It's a pleasure having you joining the conversation. I'm sure you caught me talking about the Commander Sugar Factory. Here we are again. After so many promises, we're starting again. We're starting anew. Commander Sugar Factory. I don't know whether to commend those saying the Commander. I'm just playing on words. Whether to commend or not commend them about the state of Commander. What's your take?
It's a sad situation, and it's been on our table for years, and we just keep playing around it. And like your question, I mean, what kind of leaders do we have? What kind of a people are we? And now we're talking about importing molasses, when we're talking about creating jobs. When you're creating jobs and when you're encouraging the youth to go into agriculture, don't you find land for them to grow their sugar cane so we don't have to spend our little foreign exchange importing molasses to refine? We were refining sugar years ago. I mean, in the 70s and the 80s, Commander was up and running, and people were happy to patronize sugar that was made here. And then it went downhill, and we haven't been able to resuscitate it. And we keep playing and just speaking words and not seeing any real action. When it was refurbished by the previous government, we still have not seen Commander rise to take the position that they used to have before. And so why are we just playing and wasting our time and wasting our money? Because it's the taxpayers' money that goes into refurbishing it. I think that a proper plan should be done. And then there's land to grow sugarcane. So let's get the youth engaged. Let's get the farmers who are in Commander growing sugarcane for the factory back on point, doing exactly what they were doing. If we think that we want to resuscitate the Commander Sugar Factory, then let's look at ensuring that the farmers are growing the sugarcane and we are not importing molasses to refine.
Well, I think this is the last straw for me. I mean, like you just said, you now have to import molasses to sort of produce the sugar you want, while we could have, these projects were started, and we're supposed to have swathes of land where we're going to cultivate sugarcane and all of that. It wouldn't meet all of the production requirements, but over time, we're supposed to get there. So even if we had that in motion, we wouldn't be back. But it's, again, not one step forward, 2 steps backward. It is 1 step forward, 10 steps backward. You know, we always, it's always, and do you know what makes my heart bleed? It is something that I feel we ought to do here, and maybe the media generally ought to be looking at. I wish we could look at administration after administration, and look at the damage, the loss done to the Ghanaian people for projects that have not been completed
continued and all of that, the damage it does to us, because there are roads from the 90s that we've been fixing time and again, constructing since, imagine if constructed this once and for all, how much we would have saved. There are projects, educational projects, hospital, health projects, and all of that. So you see that we're never really developing. We never really develop because it's the same projects you just keep circulating through a certain vent, and administration after administration comes back to it. This is a typical one. A lot of talk shop about the Commander Sugar Factory when we are importing so much sugar, when we're importing so much rice, when we're importing all of these things. And there's Abeyime. There are places up north. Recently, the rains came and they flooded a lot of these rice paddies and the rest. What are we doing? The Nigerians have found a way of getting some good, appreciable level of, self-sufficiency when it comes to rice. We're sitting. So poultry, look at our industry. We're talking about soya bean and all of that. We're bleeding. They are not getting the right, products for feed. We're bleeding when it comes to sugar. We could easily produce this. I mean, as a young person, it sometimes just it maddens me. Like, what country is this?
It maddens everybody, and it's because we are playing politics instead of working together as a people. We're playing politics with everything that is around us. If MPP comes in, it won't continue what NDC started, because then NDC will get the credit for it, and vice versa. And so we are just playing politics and playing lip service, giving the people lip service, and not really putting on the ground things that would help us develop. And so we are going around in circles. And when I hear that one president has done better than the other, I begin to question. I'm like, what did they do? What did they do to improve us? What have they done to improve us? If you provide hospitals and you're not making sure that
Now, President Akufo-Addo in February promised the Commander Sugar Factory will start production of sugar in April. The month of April has passed and production has still not started. The factory has been painted and some works are being done. But farmers and residents of Commander and its environs are asking about the source of the raw materials for the operations of the factory. On the Joint News Tracker today, Richard Kojonyako reported that authorities are considering importing raw sugar to support what the local farmers would supply for the factory to start working.
This is the $36.5 million Commander Sugar Factory. This factory was revamped in 2016. The then President John Dramani Mahama outlined the reasons for the establishment of the factory when he laid the foundation stone to commence the construction in 2014. The factory was subsequently completed and commissioned in 2016 amidst fanfare, but was shut down 2 weeks thereafter. The shutdown of the factory dashed the hopes of many. The inactivity at the factory continued for 6 months before a new government, the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government, took over the reins of power. Residents were anxious to see the factory operationalized so that the promises that were made would be kept.
So this is the Commander Sugar Factory. It is not in its old self again. It's been painted. Inside of the factory, a lot of works are being done. They are fixing the bolts and nuts. You could see day and night workers here working vigorously to put the factory back in shape.
In and around the factory, some farmers have begun preparing a nursery on some 6-acre land around the factory. Residents of Kisi, Commander and its environs, who even though have seen some major works at the factory, are unconvinced that the current development and arrangement are for real and sustainable.
Until last 2 months, when we heard the president that last April, which has come, he will come and commission the sugar factory and they will start the operation. We all became happy. But since then, April has gone. We haven't heard anything about it. So we are worried.
Isaac Kweku, another sugarcane farmer here, says he's seen the works being done at the factory, but his concern is with the raw materials to feed the factory.
Within the means during the NKC, all the government to provide guiding my farmers, who to the assurance, and I'm fighting you, Juma. Still, they be our different stories. They be our different stories. And some of farmers, they be where they would be assurance crop is what turning to be.
So, as it stands, where will this factory get its raw materials? A member of the board of the new Commander Sugar Factory and municipal chief executive for the Commander Edna Eguafo Ebrim municipality, Solomon Ebuapia, says they would rely on the farmers and also import unrefined sugar and refine it at the factory.
The moment we've kind of engaged the local farmers around to give us the sugar that growers, they've given us substantial amount of sugar to on 20th, perhaps we could start the test run of the production of the sugar 20th of this month. So what it does mean is that it is not enough. So as we said, we've procured large tracts of land from Winneba Enclave, etc. Obuasi, we have 22,500 acres of land, and the Shama Enclave and Commander for the cultivation of sugar. We are importing raw sugar from abroad. The raw sugar means that it is not in consumable states. What does that mean? That we have to refine it. What we are doing it concurrently. Local, the little that we are having and that of them. So the presumption is that after 1 or 2 or 3 years, what that means is at that time we planted the sugar cane, everything is ready, and we stop importing, and we'll be relying solely on the raw material from our local base.
Even though the factory is yet to be operationalized, some residents of Commander have begun boosting their resources. Grace and her colleagues believe they would have made much to support their families if the factory was working as they promised them.
So Jumano Quada, Abemdo, I have a nije, a quantifa, a human hitama, a beer to console Jumawaha, a quantifaba.
The situation here has made many of the youth travel out of the communities to neighboring countries to look for greener pastures. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenya Akon, Cape Coast.
All right, that was another report from the Joy FM. Now, Sir Commander Sugar Factory and the Emu Bruha and Sama Abubai. Whom to be blamed? Why necessity a day Subuano Ebon? Commander Sugar Factory. Yeah, woha. Enya Juma till now. And function sugar be every moment. Now share millions of dollars. Akwadim nemfaso be every moment. Why necessity blame no? Man. As I say, I demand MPP a bind. And as I say, I demand NDC a bind. And you be a here for and a catcher Ghana for say Commander Sugar Factory no. Ye beer ano a man for two champagne. I will ho everyone son, everyone coconam. We are back to square one. Sir, till now, Commander Sugar Factory is not working. Nanso tie enkrofo ano asema working here. They are blaming the MPP government. They are blaming Amenado Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his gurus. Do you know why? Because MPP na say sika NDC for a 2 din say no and a war Commander Sugar Factory no sika no enya no no mudi ye. That means say a man for be far a bronya ho every crackers papa po enya crackers wa nkrofo bi fa Christmas efa Christmas mo bi enkoko. Now the same NDC for no woja ade no ho woja no ho saa ekoye wo say wo beba 2024 no nyankopon eye wona dom na so wo ba amanfo bekoje ya tesa me no kasa yi wakana ni breso $36.5 million. $36.5 million project. And that one. Yentie. China. But say it's here NDC for no some. Almost some ni bim. All right. Mon temo aso din natie ensem no.
Ghana's dream to produce sugar locally has set a snag because the Commander Sugar Factory has been idle for 5 years. The unpleasant news is that the $36.5 million facility is rusting away. Machines have badly corroded and the roofs are badly torn. Jojo Kobna just returned from Commander and reports that even though the factory is just 5 years old, it looks almost 20 years old.
This is the factory that is supposed to be producing sugar for the country, but it has been idle for 5 years. The roof is rusty and worn out. Before we get into the details of the current state of the factory, let's trace how Ghana found itself in this situation. It may sound basic, but Ghana had a dream to start producing sugar locally. Hence the rebirth of the Commander Sugar Factory. The old factory, built in 1964, became defunct about 30 years ago. A loan of $36.5 million was invested into the factory. Resuming operations at the factory was a perfect opportunity to do things right this time around and cut down on Ghana's importation of sugar.
So as I speak, every single cube of sugar, every single grain of sugar that we eat here in Ghana is imported from outside. Commander is going to change that. It is my honor and my pleasure to declare the Commander Sugar Factory duly inaugurated.
Excitement created the commissioning of the sugar factory in 2016.
The inauguration of the Commander Sugar Factory will provide jobs. It is estimated that in full production, this project will provide direct and indirect jobs to an estimated 7,300 people.
Unfortunately, the facility shut down in July 2016 because of inadequate sugarcane. It was due to reopen in October 2016, but never did to date. Since then, there has been a flurry of promises to get the factory running.
Because Sama Cassia here, and to Swa Cassia here, Emma factory to meet now, the amount of land we need for the sugar, the type of sugar we can grow here, all those things were not properly organized. I think the ASR organization, and also the between strategic investor, and also it to be about Robert Bisomu, Nanche, Obatibi Papa Freemanum, and Chakra.
But it took 2 years before the government announced a new investor for the sugar factory.
All this factory, like any other factory, will keep on needing
ongoing investment, ongoing retooling, and if that is done, definitely it will keep running and it will bounce back.
When are you starting work?
We are waiting for the final agreements to happen. After that, we'll start working.
It is past the second week of August, and the Commander Sugar Factory remains closed. Currently, the facility is in terrible shape. A comparison of the factory in 2016 and 2021 shows the factory is deteriorating.
There sits the Commander Sugar Factory in its rusted glory. It has been abandoned for so many years. It is not producing sugar. And there are so many youth in the community needing jobs, and they have none.
The plates and rakes that would carry the sugarcane for crushing have rusted. The new investor would have to spend more money to revive a new factory that was shut down just months after commissioning. A journey to the roof with a drone reveals further deterioration. Parts of the roof are rusted, worn out and torn. The roof is riddled with holes, and with the onset of the rains, it is obvious the rains seep into the factory. A group.
All right. Asamno near Dawano, send your musi huno. Yenina name the story behind the Commander Sugar Factory. Winim, mensuminim. Se asamba ya asemfofo. Eba ne sen, na ye free and yakodruin. Many anum bia join me. Me no say Uncle Frank of Edmonton. I join me. And I say the minia akwasi yesu. And so I join me live from Cincinnati. And you may many omobedi and come now. What Commander Sugar Factory? Earlier no me bo voice be. And this is fortress say nyame ona dom na woba power wobachi nkrofo bi agum anya asem ketwa omumom abachi omubachi amanfo agum tie ne yepa NDC su obachi amanfo agum ewo my Ghana. Esan say wo Jessica Puduo Edema MPP government. And MPP government I am Shanghai. I'm the mini be sending me. Yeah, me that say or the free Ghana. I say good evening, Aja. Please. You made an omission of commander on the. All right. I'm at what I say on the title. Yeah, I know for sure. Say KOMENDA. But Uko Google. Almost I know COMMAND. Sano mo I know Google. Enti muhuna sanwa monfana sa. One fan is an him. And this fortress say, Wobachi MPP for Gum Papa 2024. Enya sem papa. Esan say, Sikapuduo, ya wojaho. Adema, Nanado Danko Akufuado. And in the team. And in the team, no one Fasikano, Anya Jum. One Disicano. That's what I would say. Tano Motre. Yeah. One Disicano. Enti Wonyaba. Obatia Manfo Gumu Papa. Na Enyam Wangwa. Say, I say MPP is so weak. sɛ mo yɛbaa yɛ anaa mobaa power yi nkurɔfoɔ bi agye double salary wɔnenam hɔ free yɛnkyi wɔn mo ngum wɔnenam hɔ up to now 6 years obi ankɔ jail ɔyɛ mp wagye double salary ordinary person bi yɛ ɔyɛ n'adwuma sɛnea ɛsɛ sɛ ɔyɛ na katua kura nso ne di ɛna nka ɔkɔgye double salary ordinary person nkoɔdam so amanfoɔ bi ka sɛ asa amanfoɔ na ɛwɔ ghana no you scratch my back I scratch your back ɛno na ɛkɔ so a tie ne ndc foɔ no kan nipa kyɛw tie nkurɔfoɔ tie a na ɔmo de commercial
Choppy,
from an accounting point of view is causing financial loss to the state. And the next NDC government in 2025 will be prosecuting those who are responsible for the...
The next NDC government 2025 will be prosecute people who are responsible for causing financial loss. What is TNBM? This is from the NDC gurus.
The ranking member made it patently clear that they undervalued the factory that was built with $50 million. They undervalued it at $12 million US. And they are doing so in order to sell it off, for a song. That is unacceptable. From an accounting point of view, that is causing financial loss to the state. Again, the fact that the factory was left to rot, and for many years nothing was done, and they had to borrow money in order to refurbish it. That again, from an accounting point of view, is causing financial loss to the state. And the next NDC government in 2025 will be prosecuting those who are responsible for the causing of financial loss to the state.
Ranking member on trade.
This is from the NDC gurus. Omo double salary. Ya money na more free no, and no more no asemi. Omo turn the table no upside down. Blame the current government. Nambi na because omo say sugar factory no mu vie e bie anu a e produce sugar. So which is which? Now which one are true? Mami go woman so na mene Uncle Frank encoding komo. Uncle Frank o temenka.
Mike.
Uncle Frank, memo akwaba.
Yeah.
Na
o temenka yi.
O meto nka kama pa.
Because na me tie wa ha ne twitwa sisinti me fi say.
Okay. Bibia e kama. Ai.
Oh, okay.
Na
michia etiefo ewo so
obi adun
sugar factory commander sugar factory ya wo kan ho ase NDC fo say omo be power omo be chi MPP fo egum yi mi fiti ase free one omo be power ne dabe 2025
omo there almost 2025. Omo na eba power. Omo adwen
Mike, and send you a more. Yana, ye tiefo no ana especially ye wo ya bruchire no. Ye tiana ye bukura na free. So ye tiana ye bufun in such a way say yempani for MPP for no one man near maybe aye ya wuntimi enhu
asem
wunti chese bi hunu asem ameka we a wo ma be kan niema troka semhunu ade agu oyi MPP ni bia ma out emeyi ano.
Well, if you don't suffer serious, they go. Omo they call. Mo me yano. Omo suffer say no correct. so
in fact emma me any ebinumu ewo MPP for afem mutina hono mo be kekensem hu poto di gu hono mo Commander Sugar Factory ye ne wa abuchire kura nti enim se di esi ebaaye temo na wo mu free abamu no na ayi command ayi factory no na edwuma temo mu free abamu no ba na se before no kura mbe free abamu na ayi ye friend say factory no nya edwuma na temo a government yi ka se present government ni ka se oba omo beye na omo aye ne say ebuya no anaso omo aye ma factory na aye adwuma no
right
na ndisi fo no omo eko epoase anase no omo koyi
bisa bie mame panyin
enyu omo kra na ka se MPP eba aye no omo agya factory no egu ho no mo a kire se omo mpese omo ebe to anaso ombe ye ni ma aye adwuma
omo a
temo anu ye keka se omo koto ayi sugar no free makola ede eba aye no no omo ko epoase ana edi eni pa ne enu omo bu man
asem
omo atena ho no mo ehun se no sem se government na aye ma se se be ye adwuma
tie sene omampanyi de ne ma hihye mu a ya ba be ye adwuma andi sifo na tu hu mrika akọ commander ho akọye ayi friends press conference no
nanya ayi last week yana ayi commander for central region and for no call Jubilee House ekoda o mampani ase anase me na meboa
no mama minim eno de mante ho ase
ya
ba me de minim say no
bi kai se comment ayi anase government ne call president ne call ho num na omo ehimfo no ekohia no anase omo ko Jubilee House ekohia no a no omo edan ase no se omo hunu se government na bomodin ebeye ma factory na aye adwuma enti e so omo fe kwan bi so no omo ebeye se de ebeye omo animu enwuas ne sika hin ena mudi jaye anka temo a omo start ya no omo ka se mo ntimi anya Commander Sugar Factory no ada na mo anka se mudi sika ja enti no abane fe ntoa so nyama hama ne begina ho ka se wonu de osi factory ansa na wadua ayi ye friend say ahwede no na Mike ye mpanifu yi MPP mpanifu no se ye kasi edi o mochi a o mama yakoma kora tete
Uncle Frank o je hu abontia se omo makwan man di sifo anya anwodin bi ye niam bi a wote kra na bibi ayo enyefe
Tese no omo hunu se wo mu lose hope wo central region one because of sugar factory intino o se wo mu so be ka bibi a ebe ma wo mu trust no akoye yie kakra na ase bibi sa Mike we dey ye penifo no
mami misao we no so National Cathedral hu asemi se nkramofo bi nso asore se opanyin bi a oye in charge akoka o TV so se emra nkramofo nso si omodan aban eso omo asene kakra ama se me no kasai eno so the Muslim Islamic group of one for being so asole say opanyin no entro bi no wadi tese wo hwe the way a enkramofo no kasa no a asa bufuo bi Say sana akwaya Muslims and Christian issue.
Na ka saa de no nso kura na ade na ene ka chief imam be ma sika se yemfa nye
me ka say chief imam grab e contribute meboa
prime nkofo bi ahye da no omo yesa ohun
omo nyina ndisi fo na e se omo achi
ya
se be omanu mu be ye atese ma omanu mu ye din a omo mpe
saa na yɛmpanifoɔ no ɛbɛyɛ deɛ in fact yɛbɛyɛ yi mu because yɛntumi ntena ha no mu yɛne yɛnwene ho na mo sɛ adeɛ bi ɛba saa ne ɔmo de gu mu anim ase ɛmfa mo ho ayɛ sɛ ɛmfa mo ho maame nyae na kofi yesu nso ɛmmra so na on so make be na media yes akra na food too much
asem na ben eda say Uncle Frank eda papa power nia ode abre we Uncle Frank of Edmonton Canada and ya ten ken mama nko Cincinnati na me nko fa akwasi yesu akwasi
Uncle Mike
hey na nti usho na say nto nka crowd
I'm taking summer classes if you person me here near my 1 to 1 to.
Oh, okay. Na eko yedi.
Oh, yamiadom. Yeah.
Eda yehuas. Na kwasi somewhere that pono so. And this for person mo kire say eye MPP aban and wa bandle commander wa bandle abandon commander Sigafa. That
Yo, Uncle, me da say, mama fan chama wo edi kan say o se wadaje o na bring na no o ma Ghana fobi ehu MPP aban papa nyama omo ye na also kakra bit me aye dia bo promote Ghana nyami sha pa in fact I said that be on my emfama the edi kan so no mo amutie o I celebrate you or Munduma Momo film, baby bia Europe and America, Asia, baby Bia will be within just from call Kwamana Pa. Uncle, in fact, Necrano, yeah, Majesty coming from the committee. Sometimes I know Tia, I'm a for friend or Mokasa, I have more ideas now, but man can't say we are on crowd at the vetting number. Because Uncle, you see, I don't understand this. You see, on the be a meka. In fact, Miraho, Anna Miraho, because on say Yame boy no, I may never be bree. Oh, into say Bibi Bessia home or crack me catch like what drink to me catch us. I deal with yeah. On send this for General Cassette 2024 Berry. Uncle Opa Bodin to us says MPP and sorry waka. Night say ya and see beya. Minu continental work in a table which I
am no wakan.
Would Opa bonnet date to Opa for paint for one. Not MPP for yes, yeah, ya can almost from Mabu Masumiano. Would Opa now here. A lot of people have given up. Which I say, Commander Sugar Factory. Ya yin the acquire DC for their faso. Ya ba bemu, and fear saying, into your dinner, yeah, king. Special prosecutor, and one buy your car a bunch. Oh my goodness. Now, how can we progress as a country? Nothing seems to be working. She cried your Rasa Commander Sugar Factory. Send this for business, he can't form Sasia. Na young people, yeah, ba bemu, your man Ghana for absolutely say. Yet, yeah, ba. Na yet there will be all Ghana chrono, where the Ghana dream piano, yet not from the Quasono. Nene, or Moon and I'm one. I say, Council no 2024, but my power. I bet TMPP for or Mona Case, yeah, Commander Sugar Factory, no, Yene Dia Coma Sono, almost one money babette. So, but just to say, as some Quaka could do. Nanka Sugar Commander Sugar Factory. Naka how I didn't think about this time. I dear Baku, and yes, a secure room, and a home press conference. Shortcut in a yet China some get to. I didn't think sometimes as a black man. Yet me you so Nyansa na media maye. Common sense na media maye. Now ye the be I didn't say. Book madia yoko sunyano, you free send on the betting there. Sometimes you will fear Nyansa, your book Nyansa. Huh? Uncle, yet a Ghana. Obi Korea body. Net now go to 20 years. Obi Korea be mobile phone. Net not 25 years. Just state land a good Ghana. I water logo would be here, you know. Obi Kobo Kron, Kobi Kotu, Obi by Obi Kotu body. Why don't you use those people? Niamfa, Yamfa, and your phone find be here and from producing. Is it hard to do this? Oko Brazil. Brazil is one of the most countries who produces sugar cane. The world leading sugar cane. That's how they do. Obi one my Brazil. Some of my drug addict, you know. Yet you more than yet didn't call rehab after 2 months. Near Shannon, yet did not go to foam. Or more man here more than Dindio, or more the book on only at 10 yet did not go to foam. And then Brazil is one of the leading sugar cane. Yet you want a Ghana. Commander sugar cane, yet you want about when a baba. No, I can't yet. When a baba, MPP will be any die as well. Yeah, Messiah. Ghana for 12 back. Picture dear Dimano. Look at what we're doing. Me, I didn't tell me go blame this before. And this is for the buy so. Yeah, you're buying a tesho. Ain't it said? And this is for you know a casa. Yeah. Na ye na ye buy ye. Ye again to show baby a sanka, ye didn't matono. And this is fan to Obia, Sikabia fan is sassy. Baby, I said, Sikabi call Nema factory running and rania. I didn't see who can say. Gently, and prosecuting panel funding that can be service and a question.
Right.
It's not a crime. You invite to say, Commander Sugar Factory, where they share one star. I had Nessa Bibikoha and Koha. And Sasia say, a month for I say, I buy support to a more, no move, a mudia sugar cane, no, Sikabin call and call. You do that come here be service our question. A bonus 1 year, Sambia and Fanka. When Japan been a better one, it was 2 years to be a walk. Let's set as an example. Your bird bomb the woman. Abuka Pele, ye jelino, or Quack Nam prisoners or Yari, a put for the inner epi, and on or 2 AD for 4 years. Native me radio to the piano, me defend the MPP, let me defend it. Now, my for Treton. Now, we say, whilst our leaders they can use their common sense. I give you honor, we don't need to come on this radio and talk about it.
Yeah.
They can use their common sense. Commander Ghana, Ghana, well, I'm from when the baby out to be a Uropa Ghana, baby, what plot to be out who were boutique, Uropa Fashidi, to fan council, any 1 year Becona as a face you. Then we are struggling. Now, my first I should follow again. Now, and this is for all Jawan this from Ghana. Who doesn't know in this? But MPP for Ghana for ratio moves and no, Mudia, Muba Bamua, and no need the form. Muya Bibi man, the boy Ghana for Yenano. Then yes, said, yeah, there's a bubulebu. Yes, so bubulebu, and then this is when you are no Casasa or Buba.
And I, Obubulebu.
Ah, bubulebu. Munina Obia, so Munina Maka had decroman.
Scratch my back.
How? You know, Kenyans didn't vote for MPP for this kind of as a slow motion, no. Because say 2016 2020, say JJ and yeah, say I can this 45, I say. So I didn't see. I can't get huh? I don't know, Biatiada, a country like Ghana, who fear Crampona West Menty Crow Guatas, no one here, not Yancy Ghana. I saw them name Pepe. I saw them name me, I Pepe. Who be about to the body, yes, you are, and such a country near struggle, say, important, say, sugar, oh my goodness. When I listen to that, you'll be like, hey, it's Ghana Crow and TB and your bunny veteran radio, so, yeah, Cassan, when you know, Fitano, Oko. These people, no one that said this guy is insulting them every day. No one that say, I'm on forbid you, I don't encourage insult. But sometimes what these people, why am I, uncle, it's an insult to us. This is you taking Ghana, no, it's insult. Uncle, Oba only the chief here can see a crown for 14 years, 15 years. What the Ghana channel, sir, you do better, I tell you. this Commander Sugar Factory, umano description and yema find out you do better. Near to honum untimi hunu dia koso we na beba no abeka na sam kakra no aka and I we see we na ye we see we na ye we see we na ye huh we see we na ye this for say MPP for ye twa no MPP for ba e dey discuss mo madi MPP for say oh mo kra na say kamu ye say ma anye e say kamu nia sugar ma anye say I don't the day no amafo hia dwuma ye ne tia ban mu e dey ne de begugu akwa mu a ade ne be rane ne tete wasa na NDC phone number radio so here and there now we anytime bia no every week bia ye nya cases the boy MPP ne akia no atum na ya ye ho ye twen ho ne ye ko we think am me na say ka bi nya position we na say ade da ho ase emu ani nko ho eto say break the 8 trade ba wo mia ne ma odi gugu akwam ka ba wo mia ne ma vice president me hu bi da vice president ya born who want pa me hu bi da say me nyini ya mani fi ya me see me hu say ye di president bi enya vice president ba o nya dwuma won bono enya easy but say the esi ko no one man sense form because ade bi ho no ma nyema bi ho no ma ensisi so ye kaska no Ghana $36 million me to na me machine ye kaska $150 million me say hey so ye hu hwe ana ye try say Ghana NDC for aso asem we asem a ye nyina wan anim NDC for anema mo de fa sa Commander Sugar Factory
I want the omu didi o omu ye omu hu ye papa
say omu ni na nya no mo nye ses ka no mu dua no na mo de akototo radio station no mo de digina so no na wa baba mu na u baba mu no what is special you can say prosecutor or not office ke ko sa office won uncle nye ska ketwa na ensem a say yen trust ni ndi ensem no ana say yen fra manfo tutu o ma no you know we invite you obi say wo tutu na no it's not a crime say nipa na bokro no until say ye be fa no say we guilty enti no say Commander Sugar Factory and this abreso sika na say di woman rani say abeto yiso akwa say kwakwa nanse akoku obi na kakahini twam na ma kakahini won bon ye no asem ni bia na ekoso no kokona sha kokum aboa kokum ye kan say on wansane ade ato ne kokoso a pro ye hunu say be kakahini twam a kakahini akwakwaji aboa yaso a onu so nim say aboa yawu ana apro aka ne ho na ho kankan no de nam honum. That's the same thing going on in Ghana right now. Instead of MPP to make sure say obia Commander Sugar Factory sika fa ni sasi bia so yem people and this yem from yen tutu ni make sure say factory ni running no we see we na here we see we na it was as saka 2.5 years I can just few months now this year is gone me see 2023 and run it and it's you one na kwaye bosom it says can say move free say ready why don't you guys channel into a different you can say factory na and running man for nya adwuma nye na ade ni si ho na da bia ye kan wasem na journalist so ye tua bika no makogina ho na ensem we nim no mo ka oh I'm paying for my dear uncle I'm telling you because this kind of sad everyone was krom wa obi ye bibia sisia na yan tantan bibia da na kwam Ghana there just say I don't know what is wrong with them omo boni pa bro papa na wo kasakra akwati say ovim because say you nim ade a wo defend no omo a wo no kasa wo defend na wo they are not doing anything
yeah
it da bia wan hwe obi tincha kra beka say wo kwa de wo kana de no na say ni Ghana can try sugar cane say I you kwa ku import raw materials ni free abuchire na dia ba wa wo ye bi o kasa say wo unfair a country like Ghana ya tons ase wo nyina nsase wo ho amamfo betimi dia ya tons o man tons ase nyina we don't know what is wrong with these people they don't know say no aha a state land aha say aha we aha asase ye dai e wo bibia aban de be ye o ma ton achafa
and to say omo de nam say utie NDC propaganda na omse MPP for mom no mo aton Atimota Forest ene ne keka aka ho
ene de nya no kore udru cantonments asase nyina cantonment one stand jeje wrong. You see sometimes sans mbisa no de na wo MPP communicator and as MPP for no community o me ya yi o mo so mo communicators no o mo adwuma ne sen nti wo tena mo NDC ni ko gina ba bi ko kasa asem we ya ono no NDC for no ono no ya ko ti o mo ma ti school a ya kire mo say mo MPP government no mo nyom popular and some say na monka social media I say mu ko ni say and gradually it's working for them. It's working. Who anya obi a obetuma match o mu boot for boot ayi nsem bia no amomas mo makana kwaye nwura. Ghanaians they are able to believe all this kind of stuff. Me I don't believe it. Obi anu a watching Ghana sase bebrebe o nyina no enya ni nyina ababan Ghana ban sase ya asem ketwa. Ghana sa change baby ama change so no ho nyina enya aban sase.
Oh yeah.
Until obi. I said don't catch baby o in hotel enya aban sase until obi. But no mo twa mo ho e ba beka say Atimota Forest aban aton abra aban ton ye. Inti e na CMPP e ho kwan say entimi nko yi one say it's not like that ye get man dey abani ba.
Won't cry so be e kan was.
Obi na dey say wunim. Say no obi na dey say say enya dey say obe ha ne ho aye bibia nti no kakra obenya no onya this how these people are o ka obi on onya dey but means that's what I think because the modwene Ghana for na modwene party no a I mean ni ma bi ho no ma mba be yi mo ho no na ko bia ye ti aban mu ye na ti aban mu ya aban na ti so ye na ye ti aban so ye bu o man no. Do we have to be silent on this kind of issues? No. And then this the beer and the piece from Christ from Kobe and the Sammy Jenfi. October no come to share Sam wait me pass 5 days go in such channel. Wait. Can some you talk o can some obeka say ye wo no ni tihwehwe ye di ni tihwehwe dem sa
what is Sammy Jenfi kan
Sammy Jenfi I think Prince FM last 2 days ago.
Hey, they said they go Prince FM.
Senro. Oh yeah, Senro said that be yeah.
Ayana.
Nana say Ghana baby Edru no send this before bar it will be very difficult for me for man because people for say o man no cry. Ana Ghana for bi o munimi nyansa say and yes mo ba sa na mo be mo be ka say o man na say nti no mo ba be wi akodo mama you know some of Ghanaians no munimi nyansa we are here ken and this before that's how they are. It's say aka 2 years am near to aba ye wo mre bebre betim dia ye niam bebre on said there be 2020 ye beto aba the NDC estima Ghana a former MPP here on popular no I thought say na they will win this but me the mania to form say social media no uncle social media na e wo no Ghana 30 something million population into ko unso bi afa nipa be 5,000 the general can say they are mo most of them no be na ye NDC for what I say so enkati say MPP for ke ho abom na ya kyerɛkyerɛ nneɛma mu e de akyerɛ amanfo ene ko social media na ko comment cry ene hwe me inbox mu amanfo se gas aye you have to eni kwase odi atem obi ho a ono no na adwen no awu no nam Ghana come de no nti wanya 50% bi akoto e oba be di atem but utimi kyerɛkyerɛ nneɛma mu ebu akwa na mabre gas here cost you say cost free near you have to take your time with a lot of evidence now they are gradually most of we know about to say senior someone who can no creo man who is most of Ghanaians no they fail to read into details who we now obedu atem so many people that have insulted me on social media I was trying to you know we are part of it sabi anke tia oni pay road bia so ya kasa ba ha nkofosu yini obi oba be kasa bia ni payroll bia say busuni bisu a ye ma obi sika bibi say but we are doing our best what you say obi ye na from there trying to make sure say we will stay in power break the aid make sure MPP rule as long as we can but if omo ye mpanimfo na the accoutrements na sure monsa omo betimi dia aboama sa ne ma ni sa dwum ni nyina tima ba mu no omo te ada at his logo, baby, I can see one really full ni na yibia. I better net me. I didn't say trauma and DC4. I can't look at this. You can't say this guy. Movie actor, you can't John Dumelo. John Dumelo and I'm obi on what we are by car. I was shop. A spray. Ya faka and no, but no way we can or namo. Ah, Kofi Adams. If you car. Epenti ho e dia ye na ono we ade yankopon.
You don't know what JS Gracia.
Ghana we are joke.
Ono ba JS Gracia.
Ono ba JS Gracia. Sa je no kwa de se twam kra. Ghana JS Gracia se twam kra. Because they put him for most of them for no money nyansa. We ka so udi o matem. Yet Ghana na electricity. Look at sika electricity. Electricity. Ah, enti no for we a bogu ho bebrebe no. Enti yetimi nya solar. Enti solar panels emfa ma north for no emma sa current ya etwe no enko ba bi a awie ni a omu hia electricity uko coastal area uko sa volta coastal ni sa Cape Coast and no ba America ha say ya uko Chicago ufri Cincinnati ko Chicago a utra Indiana kakra bi na wo kwa ubedu hu ye kan say windmills US windmills the break kwa 10,000
generative power generative power.
What you say? US crown wa akwana awia mo kese kwa no. They are going solar and wind power. Near to Ghana, water region, sea waves, bogu kwa. Oh, you can say these people they don't have visual car. We want to see. Since you can do electricity near where why not? I think sika twitwi still now crown pono wa na light shim. What you say? We don't have people that have common sense. Oko Cape Coast. See, I'm on for to not a pre-omujo. Come on, uncle. Ghana and someone say if we're talking about Ghana issues and one way, you'll be one of my idea because there are some things you want to. You don't need education. Use the common sense, the manual that God has given to you, and you never forget Juma. Use it. Voter. Oko Northern region. A real book, uncle. And you be new. And never call 105. Me run me when you're Ram catch and never call 105. Me run a real board not in region Yasem Kitwa. Oko Senegal. Say almost 70% of their energy it's come from solar. Because Senegal, a real bomb, and Ghana we lie in the middle of the equator, a real boy. Nakasa MP for your matutofia. Or MP or no Yato Abama or no IS or no mess away. Na Ghana taxpayers no ye determine electricity abre betima ye solar e dia mana awie betima bo free e dia mana na ye tia ye Ghana fo sika omogege no tax ye say e di ye niema no na eno na ono ye to aba ma no no odi na wuti kro man one say senate bi ana say ye aban the pure electricity. How can we progress as a nation? The Ghana ye be ye ni Ghana de bia ye sunu nte be ye ni because there are some people I don't know whether it's old age and crown on Muswana, I say, youth now, and man will not allow them to think outside the box and make sure that Ghana is working again. Until they say Ghana want to be in here. On Peniform woman, we think, say, there are some issues on thinking outside the box, on bedroom futures, on bedroom. Because when we ask the big go brutal at all, if you be a man and I to found or yard on your own.
Akwasi,
uncle,
do you know how mammy? Nayan tear way quick. Nayan twas.
Okay.
Nice, I'm so now show on my YouTube channel.
Be the first to know. And same PT.
I'm miracles are called. Miracles are called. So we didn't say I'm sure.
Oh, my dear, now,
we didn't
familiar voices. We don't so call evangelism, familiar voices. We did our home of voices here. And this is for anytime you see them, this forceful, trying so hard to. So best penny issues here and just say omo pre to me but maybe once me baha me catch you say o mine ye cheche ne to me di nko anti ne ye cheche e se na timemufo abrabo be kokan na ɔmo atom ntina ye chichire ɔman no na embre bia no there were various sects of the populace and citizens and obia de hia no so ɔman ye tiesi obi wɔ hɔ a asempa de hia na say the bucket to bi wɔ primary school bitima ko school no enya duane dio so obi zo hɔ a ne hia asem kese pa ne say kanea begina so ise ko si twum sei ko bisa ne sade ba ko be ne ha na dream power we ka sade on person be ti bi ko na edum so because embre bia na kanea ndum no na the business affected so obi zo hɔ a okɔ your villages ni bia omai se ne be health insurance ni free maternal care be edwuma ti ne hia no se ne be ya ne de benya baby awo enti obi ane ne hawo enti se wo kasa na wacheche mu eni hu omo a nipa kopoti a wasem ye den komomo na oka frafra de na se tumi na o painting na ye den o yes na meba no it's a interview na here on the Commander Sugar Factory and me the blame ni nyina be ma me ankasa ma be mu penufo because we are see mu say but is there our baby so we say minorities o mo ba be mu da che yeah omo no ba be che MPP penufo aba begum. I don't blame them. If you have a group of people who took double salaries and it is known, it's an established fact, took double salaries and they are still working freely, they will always have the guts to make such comments. Oh my, wo sugar and this is where I say no grower. I'm a fast sugar now. It's your pimpim say they have produced sugar at the Commander Sugar Factory. Say you are aware. You remember they actually did a commissioning. Say they have advertised for distributors. You remember to come and put in their proposal so that they'll start having a distribution channel for sugar. So remember in 2016 when these guys NDC a commission Commander Sugar Factory, you know, they told us we are producing made in Ghana sugar, and that's a sugar power. Young shelves and so. Supermarket, you say Commander Sugar on the 10th of October, you could for a commission report be into the Commander Sugar Factory. I'll read friend say a little bit of it for you to see. Alright. We need summary of it. Me kind of review. Me kind report. The plant was commissioned. The technical audit report that was done in the Commander Sugar Factory on the September 2017, on 10th of October 2017 actually. Part 1 summary new, 2 parts. Part 1 summary new. The plant was commissioned by His Excellency the President of Ghana on 30th of May 2016. On John Dramani Mahama 2016. A project completion report submitted by the contractor indicated that the project was completed in March 2016, 7 months earlier than the expected date of completion. The expected date of completion was October 2016. On report in March 2016.
Quote again, also free.
Except of the executive summary of technical audit report commissioned by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in September 2017 and dated 10th October 2017, part 1.
Okay.
The plant was commissioned by His Excellency the President of Ghana on the 30th of May 2016 on Mampeni John Dramani Mahama. A project completion report submitted by the contractor indicated that the project was completed in March 2016.
Commander.
Yes.
And that's what the report has
said. Yes. And we're here when the
great experiences you have in
just
here.
A second.
Commission. You remember in October. Okay. Also, the report also indicated that the testing of the sugar plant was carried out and sugar was produced successfully. However, full load production for its installed capacity could not be carried out due to inadequate supplies of sugar cane. It is in page 2 of the completion report that was submitted by the contractor. MS Septec Company Limited has also submitted a bill of $7.9 million as cost of the partial test run and the development of the nursery and the maintenance of the plant. The factory has only been test run during its commissioning. The test run did not go through the entire process to produce sulfurless white sugar as stipulated in the contract, as some systems were bypassed and others were not installed. It took 17 days to crush the sugarcane to produce raw sugar. This was due to a number of challenges the operators encountered during the test run. It has to be noted, however, that the sugar produced was not white refined sugar, as required by semi-processed raw sugar having the molasses, which is not edible. This raw sugar would have to be refined to produce a white crystalline sugar. The following processes were bypassed. 1. Malt clarification. The complete section was not there. Vertical crystallizers. Dosing system. Molasses weighing system. Beggar's compressor. The weighing bridge, 20 ton and 40 ton. Gap, that is the crane at the crane yard, and other minor parts. Effluent treatment plant was not constructed at the time of commissioning. It was constructed later on in January 2017 and would need to be tested. Modifications were made to some faulty equipment during and after the test run, which also need repairs. This is part 1. Now my first question is, I'm kind of for May 2016. And I John Romani Mama near NDC for Omuti radio so say Omo factory no mu year almost only be produce sugar na. Omo to be produce sugar me yan to be one day mpo e was shops no. Omo say omba aban mu a aban na ono beto ya na omo ntumi yan na omo announce chen you. Oman say aban continuous so we see school dying. Enti se we see na se wo ye handing over me fi ekwapo not SMC me dey handing over notes e ma me sasesa. Operado Pablo Okono or ye handing over notes emame. Eti Pablo catch me say me see school dying 6 units classroom block e 10 kwanta. Sa school dying no me do lentil level. Akase me do roof sheet be den e be guso. It is a me fa handing over notes na. Menim say me na mabebe succeed Pablo no. Me dwuma ne say me hena me roof sheet aye den e good dying so because we do lentil level. No my den na me wie. So what they do is that the handover note will quote say a dollar yes in the boy 800,000 Ghana cedis. Until lentil level you tear up to 500,000. What they do is that I cut 300,000. Until many never be na no. So 300,000 na kano. And I'm the best by day. A year dino. No say oh hand over project ama what buy no baby what no. That's what catch you say. May your factory commander sugar factory may see we me produce sugar na me produce ye mpo no ebinie enti wo ba no also ba na obeto ano aye den na wato aso. What you have done is that one, you have misled the people of Ghana, you have deceived your successor no into thinking say project now we and why then we only for us to come into office and realize say commander sugar factory now we dey see no it is even nowhere near sa completion now we then what can.
But you are shooting yourself.
I am not. And see, if such a government or such a group of people come back 6 years later, after we have a report that indicates how far we are into the completion of the project, and come and tell us, say, Oba Betoye, and say we are me blaming my buying. In the first place, arrest them, send them to court. Ask them where the money they have spent on that project is and why they couldn't finish the project, and then ask them how they've been able to spend so much money and told us that they have completed the factory that is supposed to produce sugar for us, and the report is saying they could not produce any sugar for the factory. So yes, and can we even have that guts and effrontery to even come and turn around and come and say oh, now we buy and now we told said there are issues with it for which reason you needed so much money to be able to complete. I mean, yes, or my radio Japadia money. Now in just go now my banner is a ministry can mean yes can you know
but it's taking more 6 years.
And for me yes can you it doesn't matter. You said you had completed it. Where is the money? You said you had completed the project. Where is the money? The money that you have invested into the factory that you claim you had completed, where is the money? After you had left and we realized that the factory is not functioning, why is the report saying there are so many things that you claim you have done at the factory that isn't there?
America.
Why are you still working free?
The power.
I agree. Oh, since I know what you agree. I agree with you. I know what you agree. That is why they have the effrontery to come and say the sort of things you are saying. I agree with you perfectly. I know what you agree. These same people took multiple salaries. They are still working.
We power your freedom to create breakthrough digital experience.
All right. These same people, Ora Miracle say, they took multiple salaries. They're still working around. Obiancho. Awasi, what do you mean?
Uncle Metonga.
Near Miracle did two way. What in the yard?
Nanka, so me ba me kan na.
Wa fire. Oh,
because I'm saying that. But as someone okay, you see, if we have this kind of people, it's on the communication now.
Yeah.
So biti baby na say, oh tia, oh, what you say? Nipa no work at all.
That's right.
Oh, we just say we are one word minimum class. We do have such people there. Or multi churches. Someone baby can na. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
What you say? Or more mono. Ejina homo kasa and this for ye na no. There are some new bio factory no crash or munye, which I say, I should get a bar, yes, of Ufitiana, Hidiano, would you have any pharmacy in one? I could try, a process, a qua, nequa, na bar, na bar. Baby, as I should get any far, a coaching, no, and one so yen say no Nima, a home and Yama could two men say, oh, baby, on ma, Sicano, Omania, and yet,
Dabby. And so, send nobody copy vote. I'm going to copy vote. I don't chase Candy, or wouldn't some be Flabemutino, and Yanches Candy. Fine, Gabanto, Gana Fatwaba, and you Murphy, ain't ye by ye no. Ye by ye na, ye who's I'm mistaken, no war no. Yeah,
eh? Ye quite ye who's up, uncle. Udo car come Obiaba Joe car, or the Kobe Edia Ba, or Bayano, or Cano, say, Wuna Winimo car. Osha ye never be okay anymore in Koye. One cat. Person be catching Pastor Charlie as soon as he make over just saw the coha. Remember, you said of Mika with blavin, we break an air or so. Me corner can't let you train him again. Like person baby sending panel. That's what is going on. You buy a near my one wire, yeah, copy sky, they fix it. And no much na hono metwa mo ho e pa say ye na ye ma de nkoso o mo ma nya ni ye na
eno na ye ma ye fiti no eno na ndisi fo won o
na ko ndisi fo de okaso ko mo wasem a ye ebe de na ya pon itire nkrofo de se mo ni bo mo say
yeah
nyema e course wo sikan afan ndisi fo nsa so factory ni ho no o mebu akonta na Ghana fo hunu no Ghana fo hunu ndisi fo suban modity Ghana. Oh, but if yes, I am no near can what to no more can we so, no more can we so, no more can we so. Hey, o court no was more there. No one who was some can ye. Now, Obi Nas, no be not the evidence can tell us on Befa Wako, it be Boguso. It's young people from me, sorry, Waka. Young church Ghana from Commander Sugar Factory no no. Young compare and contrast. Near say, Abaya. What book Ghana for their faso? Near Ghana for you and this for a man Bobonier and in Conton Pony Nambra Bar and Subay at home. Now be on no ma, or be on no my crampono, or no say or bar. What? Look at this. They are funny. Or no, and bar 2025 and I'm having Timoguna. Now we are Bamua, what we say, Columbia Coso, our Commander Sugar Factory. No, yet what the Tibetan Sana, Opias can't find in Sassibian or finding what did ya. Then Yakoyana see by. Oh, Janko, Kakra meet Rakano.
Agwazi, Ansana Abakono, Adwa Safo, Honorable Adwa Safo Semi, a month for Gusu count. Then I cost Mamino, you see a 2 Abamani be a ya when ya climb bra, America Sassi so, on your Nadrian so or Kobaku. Niposi a vacant. Say, a dear na MPP are buying, oh yeah, Honorable Adwa Safo. I was what doing.
Well, uncle, I'm saying, men cry drink a cram, better me say. Me said a nim at the crop pot here cost one in personal life. But I think say a country be a serious country, advanced country. I think say on commemorate resign. Yeah. Because on say
Enti officer.
Oh yeah, come on.
Officer Ghana enye serious one.
Oh, enye serious. We are not serious.
I see.
We are not serious because how can I question me bisa sesi and say honorable adjustafo in Trianica.
Hey, obe won. Akwati ade ba ko no obe san je S Gracia.
Aha.
S Gracia so obe jibi.
Say on say Bible class ensa nya adwuma no enidi.
Enko nidi.
Enti obi a wunya adwuma nko parliament enko ye adwuma no. Adenti na yese ntwa woka. Say embra bi wo parliament ya e kire say wo ye parliamentarian na say ohonam bi bia emfa ne say ubusuani bi to te say ye wo krom ha ya ye adwuma mo ye adwuma ye obivement o no so hu bi nipa bi ka wutimi sre kwane ama 2 weeks e paid ye pia enti say honorable staff 1 month kwane de man na ntinka sa policy no ntinka try so be sa returning. I don't understand this because when you ka hu bi ama say no ama te say yen mensuranti enema biase oh mensuranti enema biase oh ana wasa nano video bi am hu ye you know me I guess I'm not saying ultimate talk money ba ultimate talk of vet and for money ba and I say don't cycle we a public figure we a servant e wo empeswa bi so a on say you enema bi ho no ma so Bible say enema nyina ho kwan nyina de fata e Obin can talk about now there's no I don't have no authority to say obedi birthday you cannot buy car and I say BB and family. But time now would yes and mano. It go against you and the party that you belongs. Oh, I say Hurobi. Oh, me grumpo be ni sa mano. Ade uncle that say eboa. Oh, minim na devices among 24. Oh, in fact enya just all boy your party no kra honorable adwasafo I don't know minima de kra all pa wa be shekroma nom ne wansem ba e kan nye no wa ba be ha say he's not trying to go back to parliament said in never be go come ne say bibi ko ba sesia na say e to abape na no de course if you think say adwasafo ho no ma kasa ne ma we nyina beba na ye all the enema wu hia nyina aban dia ma wo inti e die na esu wo hwe na untimi adwuma ni bia ma position na beto na yakwa by less na fatu wonum me na wan kosi nkoda wa wonya wadwi se wuje mu jato wo kosi nkono jankwanti ade enya de say boy party kura wo enti sa ono ni impetus de kwabenya
yeah domi kwabenya
uncle e ho say seat na say ehwe yi I tell you esi ehwe yi nya sa kwafo de be fa kon
ana ni mami ye ide
uncle I don't understand. Mean to be one to cry, no. Waba betra chroma da. Onye na dwesa woko Ghana. Which I say, what's why? Nyade say woman Ghana for who say neko. Oh, if you think baby what do know, you need time for your family. Oh, for your kids, then go and take care of them. Na ejuma no bi obetimi aye no. Oh my ejuma no na enko bet. Say which we busu bi aso etwa. Oh, eno ni ade a excuse me. We say what you now to come in now. Busumi be account, ever go accounts to a piauka. S Gracia would be. Intro, I said, Mintias and a wounded money at your Canada. Be mentioned.
That's right.
Yes, Nikunu and this in you. Nikunu, our and yes, we end this.
Well, I think for I mean, I have no evidence. They alleged. But minyan onya mabontin me disclose here ma yina ye hu ye ntino honey there you between that side come kakra but the real issue on the board and say if she thinks she cannot do the job on for adwuma into nya by elections nya say bibi ko parliament na ti say yen sem moka na Ghana pa uncle sometimes you kura edio mi hu bi da o. No, me who be that a country my serious the ben what is the US now will be Senate be a congressman now Dubai baby actually honoma na ye be bibia and no yet oh be country uncle you na say yan can okre na da be say ye nyatum kakra ye be say ye can as it titiri ho uncle dachi because ye onum ni wo fa sim Ghana When we about my bro, because we failed to tell the truth to these leaders. Okay, better butcher. Parliamentarian, I got to about at Abdiamana better butcher. No one in TikTok. No one in TikTok. Now, and your man crown cry, you know, a job or so. Instead of her to use her page to explain, and also the idea be about Buama. Obiang say, oh, there is a reason. And I said, Bibi say, Obiang can say, but disclose your family issues here. But at least you are serving people. You are serving people. People are depending on you. I'm on first story 5 a.m., 4 a.m. So you have to also think about those people. You have to also think about them because their life is at stake. But you want better than I say. And on TikTok. And on TikTok. And I say, yeah, man, for being passing the come on. It's sad. Oh, say to me, transfer parliament, you maybe say, oh, because I don't know. It is sad, don't make a big way, uncle. And people were my rough. Coming 2024, we have a lot of nuts to crack. When I catch it out, because of some people's selfish interest. Say, yeah, they say, yeah, boy, a bravo, yeah. Uncle 2024, Uncle Young who be brain, Cabo say, no, so they incorporate the idea. Uncle, I'm just like a crowd baby. I know saying this cannot come to power, but if these people continue to do this, a parliamentarian better brochure. Or no, uncle, or no, one man, no, here, but will be as a pianica. Or no, team on calling Peswaso. I don't know what is going on. And one name has
say, I can say, Pana. On not time.
Semo.
Uncle, with us, so Mamma Quenya, with the man, with us.
Yo, I was in so a better was papa. I was yes,
great.
And yet saying and kind, or the way every Cincinnati and or the buy. Uncle Frank, oh, what they be Cacrabas as well? Domiko Benya MP. Dear no swan.
And one I could be issue I can because says here radio station here Kansas Free. Say US one also US antibiotics or better. Because say uno wabetna abruchire no you are so na unkofie na wo mo eto abama won.
Umpesia sofo show.
Yeah. Now, where you are soon, I bet na more. Say, and you're fine. Oh, Uno, I just have we young Nukurano, MPP Abua pa MPP Abua. Now, but me no, maybe I'm a fee, maybe I'm a papentina, I might be a president, you know, and our government, you know, empress be over and
hey, uncle. Say you decide to trade.
Hey, as uncle, you
decide to trade.
You gonna you.
Essa sani é de o homem de tudo no i. Sani homem de tudo.
Ei, na.
Essa homem de tudo.
Sani homem de tudo. MPP buy ni papa automotive year oye. On said there be a cancer same way. Na no akwa bi be gina ho na Ghana is supporting Kantanka ka police police forecast gina na say you see momo no ense Ghana na motia no. Oh, munya tam MPP car wa purchasing yasam ketwa. Na nyi se ofiti ya na Ford Chroma police car. Ubehu police car bia e Ford ana say Chevy. Enye se aban fiti ya no de no ho ka say Ghana American police oni Ford 4 ana say oni Chevy 4 e a process. Can on the standard until pesa aban ko fiti preko pe enko diri kan fan ko go na kan message em so ana so bin ka say enye quality. I'm not saying like that. On the standard of way no akakakra. What you say? And aban so enyini papa mu. Afi bia ye to cars efri omo honom cars ye to fri omo no ye to be at the ma government agencies. So I don't know what people are expecting Nanado to do again, because just of it preocupa Kantanka ye Ghana yintino ye pia Ghana ska nyina nkoku Kantanka ne yenye nyesa ne ye no a process. I say it take time. Can I say do be say ye can say e dru pempenso bia ye be say say ne ye hu hwem. What you say? You know, in some honest amount for car, people should be grateful. Amenado has been good to address Safua Nini Papa company. They should stop saying say Anna Papa no say ni anima bino. Esa ane hame. One name say Amenado mo no home wedding cash ye twa free papa e cash ketwa. Ah? You know, media media in fact enema bi ho no ma enya de say sisu mama if address Safua or issue internal issue with MPP for being phobia. Oh, na senator chama kwako. A senator chama eko. It is if BB will be at your national year in a mature way. No, I think say a party no and penifo wom and mera wo my bet me atras yes just ba. Oh, but sell be you and Mr. or better. I don't know how many months and years or better. No abandon constituency. I don't know. Like it hurt me because there are a lot of people out there too. They need you. Sometimes it's not money. It's necessary be there more. Sometimes hear presence. Obe kasachro mo asho mo crying. Oh, na where your mo better na has na 2020. Who said the MPP ni we ko jina no ma dey na beba. Oh, nti obi chance o person won say no. Ni ade aye kan ho asem. Oh, you know, uncle. Yeah, was somebody for I said they will be born a papa and we should pray say maybe things will change. Now maybe from this year to the next year now. No. You know, you be who say kakra. They say dear uncle. Ebedi.
Ase. Well, Uncle Frank.
Well, entino adwa safu there.
Yeah.
Adwa safu adwa safu no. Ade awo ye ne there. In fact,
proud.
na first me hunu wo parliament pa na mani GAG no. But nipa de wo wiase na ye ji utum ana say yi na ene maketu bi
because there's also wama NDC for nyansam bi keka.
Oh yes. Wama nyansam keka. Na NDC for yi. Mo sorry am say adwuma ni wo ye mfa nipa adwuma. Mo to tamo ana mo wa ba mu no na mutimi fa nipa. We nyina o makeka MPP for ntimi be emiya. Almost see, says you have any point, and so fire Franco for Muno. Muntimu Monka. Musu Mocassi and Fanny Point, Mamma, Muntimi, counter say, a moo a bamoon, Namu Fenipa. Namu Fenipa. Nabiko be a monument, he said, a friend say, Grace Jamfu as a say, a woman organizer. Who say a woman organizer no I said the una woman akotia constituency no efere yen who say bepe mu bi Mike we ka say we di akira ye be kasa ya ne wa brocheri ya ne ye communicate ma MPP fu no mo egu one de wo mu gu on kwa obi nnu na de wo mu ye.
Asemo.
Yeah.
All right. Uncle, you better ask Papa. I'm saying Sabre de Yamre no. Enya ya be. Eno nti ya de dwumadie no enyina ebepem aha. Nyame ya adom a ochina. Ode adom no dom ye na. Nana ya amakwen no foso yen. Anso ebeba abeto aso amai. Ebia na wa nyamre entie boiling point. The best sign they are to move ama enumere. Enti koso ama wa fidie and ha enyi emfree ha. Wa bra ya the boiling point ebe to aso de ama wo. All right, thank you people. Thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for listening. And we are about to wrap up here from the studios of Amenado, Denver, Colorado, live from the Rocky Mountains of Denver. Hey! That's that Dilumba. Charles Kojo Fosu. That's right. And I'll protect this for you tonight and enjoy wherever that you are. Don't forget at the same time, at the same place, tomorrow, Nanaya Mwakino for swing will take over.
DJ Healy.
You're ready.
Good.
Elections, no. One to the one man MPP lawyer ladies in the power movie, papa. Share over. Or more promo video, mama.
Hey, pam.
Share over. More promo video, mama.